So welcome everyone. My name is Kathy McCall. I am the Advocacy Director for AARP here in Washington State, and welcome to a first in a three-part series on Social Security. We hope that you find this information informative as well as educational. I am joined by, we have a special guest with us who is our Social Security technical expert, Jammie Lyell. So AARP Washington here is interested in keeping you informed and educated about Social Security. We are joined by Washingtonians across the state, and we'd love to know what part of the state you're from. So it'd be great if you could drop in the chat box down below on your screen. If you scroll over, you can actually add your city and maybe just your first name of where you live. We would love to see where you are from so that really we show the representation across the state for this issue and interest in these types of topics and subjects. So today we're here to talk about Social Security. Social Security is your money. You've earned it by working hard your whole entire life and paying into it. This year, Social Security turns 90. It's more than a milestone, and it's a reminder that Social Security remains a key impact and resource for families across the state, allowing them to live a better and more fulfilling life in retirement. Each month, more than 1.4 Washingtonians look forward to getting their hard-earned payment. Today, we're talking about working and collecting Social Security. A lot of people aren't aware of the ability to work and still collect Social Security. This presentation is intended to provide informational and educational information, not financial advice. We strongly recommend that you consult with a professional before making individual financial decisions. As I mentioned, we're pleased to welcome Social Security technical expert Jammie Lyell, who will share key information to help you make informed decisions about your retirement and employment plans, as well as take your questions on the topic. Prior to joining AARP, Jammie was a technical expert with the Social Security Administration. Within the association, he now spearheads initiatives at AARP designed to enhance Social Security for millions of Americans. Jammie, thank you so much for being with us here today. Before we begin, a little light housekeeping and some issues for you just in terms of making this webinar more productive for you. We want this to be an interactive conversation, which means we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. We'll be pausing along the way to take those questions, but what you need to do is you need to put those in the Q&A box down at the bottom of your screen. It's really easy to find the Q&A box. If it's not there right now, you'll see Q&A at the bottom of your screen. If it's not there and you see a button that says More, click on More and you will see the Q&A function there and you can provide your question. Provide your name and city into the Q&A box located at the bottom again of your screen. Jammie, it's time to start the conversation. Really looking forward to this and looking forward to this great interactive conversation we'll have on Social Security today. Again, welcome to everybody for joining the first in a three-part series hosted by AARP here in Washington State. Jammie, take it away.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Let me get the presentation on your screen. Give me one moment. So welcome, everyone, to Making Ends Meet, where I plan to coach you through the financial playbook of working while collecting Social Security. Because when it comes to retirement, it's all about playing smart, playing in the game, and scoring big in the fourth quarter, which is retirement. So let's get started with work duration and eligibility. First, I want to start with the Social Security Fairness Act. This act repealed two provisions, the windfall elimination provision, also known as WEP, and the government pension offset, also known as GPO. These provisions previously reduced Social Security payments for individuals who also receive the pensions from jobs not covered by Social Security, such as teachers, firefighters, and police officers. This new law impacts approximately 3 million current retirees, their spouses, ex-spouses, and even their surviving spouses. If you worked in a public sector job and received a pension, you are likely affected by this change. Now, the law is retroactive to January 1st, 2024, meaning that all eligible recipients will receive back payments for 2024, and that Social Security payments will be adjusted to include the increased payments moving forward. The Social Security Administration started releasing these payments as of April 1st. So if you believe you are eligible to receive these payments or already received them, you should do the following. Mainly, you should update your information, ensure your mailing address and direct deposit information with the Social Security Administration is up to date, and also set up a My SSA account at login.gov. If you already have a My SSA account, monitor it for updates from the Social Security Administration about your increased payments. Also, I want to go into Social Security credits and understanding these. These are the credits that you earn by the work that you put in. You can earn up to 4 credits per year. They aren't quarter-based, they are annually based. These credits are based on the total wages and self-employment income. So in 2025, you receive 1 credit for every 1,810 in covered earnings. And again, you can earn all of these in 1 quarter or even in a month if you make 7,240, which is equivalent to those 4 credits. So just like the basketball playoffs, 4 quarters will equal those 4 credits. You can earn all of those in 1 year, just like 1 game. I want to get into the 10-year rule, which kind of falls next after this. It's also known as the 40 work credits rule. The requirement is 10 years of work, or 40 credits for eligibility. Now, the eligibility is different depending on the benefits. As you will see here on your screen, retirement is 40 credits needed. Disability is 6 to 20 credits needed, depending on age. And then for survivor payments, for spouses and children of a deceased worker or who has at least earned 6 credits. And now, earning your way to these payments. To earn the maximum amount of credits, a maximum of 4 credits per year, and that's been in place since 1978. This ensures a minimum of 10 years of work regardless of your income. And the impact on the payments that it has is that extra credits do not increase the amount. So once you reach the 4 credits, you have satisfied that for the year. The average earnings over these working years determine your monthly payment. And we'll go over that as well. But I want to get into the biggest part, collecting Social Security while working. Now, before you claim your Social Security benefits before your full retirement age, you should know that if you claim early and continue to work, you may be subject to what is known as the Social Security earnings limit. In this scenario, your benefits will be reduced by $1 for every $2 you earn above the earnings limit. This increases in the months prior to reaching your full retirement age. Your benefits are reduced by $1 for every $3 you earn above that limit. And note that these limits adjust with inflation yearly. So in 2025, the Social Security earnings limit is $23,400 for anyone who has not reached their full retirement age for that year. However, if you claim Social Security retirement benefit before your full retirement age and work, some of these benefit reductions will be returned to you in the form of a higher monthly payment after you reach your full retirement age. And also for those who have that will reach that full retirement age, let's say for 2025, that number increases from that $23,400 to $62,160 for those who will reach full retirement age during this year. So for that example, and put this in layman terms, let's say you turn your full retirement age, which is 66 to 67, depending on when you were born. If you were born on or after 1960, your full retirement age is 67. So if you turn your full retirement age this year, you are subject up to $62,160 that you can earn before that $1 for every $3 kicks in. But once you reach that month, saying your birthday month is June, no matter the date, you can work as much as you want with no reductions. A fun fact or a tip about this is that if you continue to work while receiving, Social Security does take your average 35 highest paid years. So you can kind of knock off a lower paid year with a higher paid year. And Social Security does do this calculation annually, and they can increase what you receive on a monthly basis. I don't want to talk about Social Security payments unless we talk about taxes, just briefly. So it is taxable income. Some states do tax, but I will say that the Washington state does not tax Social Security payments at the state level. So taxable income is up to 85% of payments may be taxable depending on combined income. So individual filers, 25,000 to 34 up to 50%. Above 34, it goes up to 85% of payments may be taxed. And for your joint filers, 32 to 44 for up to 50, and above that 44,000, up to 85% of payments may be taxed. Social Security does allow you to have the option to have federal taxes withheld from your payments to avoid owing taxes later. You can receive this voluntary tax form from the IRS website. You can fax or bring it into your local field office. And again, Washington state at the state level does not tax Social Security payments. Now, before going into the next section, there is a poll that we wanted to just share. And also I will be stopping briefly to take any questions. I know that was a lot of information. So is there any questions in the chat for me by chance?
So we're going to go ahead and start the poll question. You should see it on your screen. How did you first learn about Social Security? So let's fill out the poll, and we will share some of these results here in just a minute. We'll let everybody have a chance to take a vote. And again, how did you first learn about Social Security? Everybody voted? Great. It looks like heard from a parent or a grandparent is the lead score, which I think, from my perspective, it's important. So a lot of these decisions around retirement are really generational and, valuing the knowledge of people that have gone before. So I think it's really important for us to continue to think about having those conversations with our parents and grandparents and learn more about options also related to Social Security. And again, this webinar is one of a 3-part series that AARP Washington is hosting. And again, Jammie Lyell will continue with his presentation, and we will be taking your questions momentarily.
Let's move forward, everyone, to understanding payment limits. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind when you're estimating the amount you receive from Social Security is the cost of living adjustment. So each year, the amount you receive from Social Security will be adjusted to account for inflation. The 2025 cost of living adjustment, also known as COLA, is 2.5%. That works out to about a $50 monthly increase for the average of Social Security retirement payments. Additionally, it's important to consider that currently there is a wage cap on taxed earnings. So in 2025, the FICA tax cap is $176,100 of your income. If you have more than one job, your employers are required to withhold FICA taxes. So you'll have to request a refund if any taxes paid on income above the wage cap when you file your taxes. And understand it.
Hey, Jamie, we did
Yes.
have somebody wanting to go back.
Okay.
They just wanted you to repeat the limits on pre and post retirement age and what can be earned before repayment.
Okay. So right here, what can be earned before payment? Okay. So in 2025, say you don't reach your full retirement age this year. The earnings limit is $23,400. And that's for people who have not reached their full retirement age this year. If you are going to reach your full retirement age this year, that number goes to $62,160. And for the $62,160, once you go above that limit, $1 is deducted for every $3 that you earn above that limit. And again, all isn't lost. Once you receive, once Social Security withholds that information, those numbers, once you reach your full retirement age, Social Security will give it back to you in a credit, not a lump sum, but a credit, and they will stretch that out across your lifespan of collecting Social Security retirement payments. I hope that answered your question. Any other?
So if a person reaches their full retirement age, let's say it's 67, then they can continue working and earn as much as they want and still receive Social Security?
Correct. You can work as much as you want without a reduction.
Great,
Was
thank
that,
you.
was that the only question, Kathy?
For right now, let's go ahead and with the presentation, then I'm gonna check the Q&A right now.
So understanding the maximum Social Security payment. So the maximum Social Security retirement payment varies based on the age that you retire. It depends on your average income earned over 35 years, the cost of living adjustment, and other factors. So when it comes to retirement age versus that maximum payout, if you retire at full retirement age in 2025, your maximum payment will be $4,018. Keep in mind, when I say maximum payments, this means that you have attained that 176,000 on average across those 35 years, filed for retirement at age 70, and accounting for the cost of living adjustments. This will lead to you receive the possible maximum that you can receive. I usually get that question quite often about this slide. Retiring at age 62 in 2025 will result in a maximum benefit of $2,831. While also opting for retirement age at 70 in 2025, you could possibly yield a maximum benefit of $5,108. This is the maximum that you could possibly receive again. And you can see here by full retirement age 62, and at age 70, it really makes a difference to when you claim. And if you're wondering, each month actually makes a difference, not only just the year, but each month you wait can make a difference in how much you receive in your monthly payments from Social Security. In calculating these maximum payments, some of the factors affecting maximum payment, again, full retirement age, claiming payments early, such as age 62, means less money. Retiring at 70 maximizes payments if you can afford, and if you have taken other considerations to if you can wait until 70. And some of those considerations are your health, your personal income, and other factors such as how you want to live within your retirement, and also consider your family as well, as they can claim on your Social Security. And when you claim, can affect your family's benefits as well. Moving forward, 35 working years. To receive the highest payout, you want to work for at least 35 years. Then earnings during these years impact your payments.
So Jamie, I'm gonna do a little bit of commercial for more questions. So hi, if you've just joined us, you have joined the AARP Washington State, the first of a three-part series on Social Security. And this is really a resource for you. We want to have this as an interactive conversation. We have an incredible technical expert with us here today, Jammie Lyell. He can answer your questions. Feel free to put those in the Q&A down below. And any question really is on the table for you, or a family member you might, or a friend that you heard from. Social Security is complicated and it's challenging to understand. So this is really your opportunity to have your questions answered. So feel free to put those in the Q&A. If you do not see the Q&A box as you scroll over your screen, click the More button down below, and a Q&A function will also pop up. And please let us know your questions. I do have a question that just popped in.
Awesome.
So this one is related to again, somebody that's working, and let's say that they're only working part-time and they have decided to take Social Security early because they had a medical issue and a disability, and but they're back, but they want to get back to work. But can they still collect Social Security and still work maybe part-time, like 20 hours a week?
Yes, and that's a good question. I get that quite often. So yes, if you're claiming Social Security, um, and you're under your full retirement age, you can still work and collect Social Security. Keep in mind of that limit on how much you can make that we previously discussed. And also, if you do end up going over that limit of about 23,000, Social Security does withhold that money, but they do give it back once you reach your full retirement age as a credit when they do the formula for your Social Security payments, and it will be paid out through your lifespan of collecting.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And moving forward, we're getting to the tail end of the presentation. So the maximum taxable earnings. So each year, the Social Security Administration sets a limit on earnings subject to Social Security taxes. So in 2025, the limit is $176,100 again. This is the amount that you would have to hit on average each year, whatever this limit is, to receive the maximum amount over the course of the average of 35 years. So maximizing your payments again, delay retirement until age 70 if possible, ensure maximum taxable earnings for at least 35 years, and fill in the earnings gaps and increase income to optimize your payments. And ways to estimate your Social Security payment, which is very important. AARP has a Social Security calculator, and there's also one when you open up your My SSA account at login.gov. Complete and mail the SSA 7004 form. You can call that 1-800 number. And also, Social Security actually still does mail paper statements to those over 60 who have not opened up that My SSA account. So if you haven't opened up one just yet, you still should receive a statement in the mail if you're over the age of 60.
So we have another question for you, Jamie.
Okay.
So this one is, what happens if I decide to retire early, and I start taking Social Security, and then I say, wait a second, I still have some fuel in the tank. I want to go back to work. Can I change my mind and stop taking Social Security, and go back to work full time, and I'm paying actually back into Social Security? How does that
And
work?
and that's a great question. I've seen that question a couple of times. It's definitely possible. So you can have a one-time decision to reverse claiming Social Security as long as you do it in the first year. Keep in mind, if you do decide to do that, Social Security does require you to pay back all the money that they sent you. Also, on top of that, you have to pay back your Medicare premiums and any money that has been garnished from your Social Security payments. You will have to pay that back as well. And this is a one-time option.
So just one time, it has to be within a year, but you have to pay the money back that you might have been receiving.
Yep, money, garnishment, Medicare premiums, you have to pay everything back that Social Security paid.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
awesome. And I see we're getting towards the tail end. I can take more questions if there are any other questions, Kathy.
Sure. Are there any special considerations for self-employed individuals, or gig workers? We have a lot of those here, in the Puget Sound area when it comes to working and collecting Social Security. Is there anything special that those, again, self-employed individuals and gig workers need to keep in mind about Social Security?
Yes. So if you were not self-employed, this might be a question for others as well, answer. So we are required as employees to pay 6.2% in FICA taxes. and your employer pays another 6.2% in FICA taxes for a total of 12.4%. If you are self-employed, you would have to pay that 12.4% to make sure that you're paying fully into Social Security. So that is something that you want to be very mindful of to make sure that you're receiving Social Security when the time comes. Any other questions?
Kathy, we have
Um,
in the chat. I can read one. So are there any discussions about raising the retirement age?
And that is a good question. There has been talk in the news about that being a possibility of an option for Congress to take. But no decision has been made as of yet for that being an option.
So we are getting a lot of questions about Social Security raising the retirement age. And I think, you know, people are concerned about that. And what have you heard?
Yeah, so Congress has several options to address mainly Social Security's long-term physical challenges. As you see on the screen, these here are 5 potential solutions to make sure that Social Security can pay 100% of earned payments for everyone who is eligible for generations to come. And also at the bottom, to learn more with free resources, you see these 2 listed here: Council for the Economic Education and the American Academy for Actuaries. These are 2 resources and a few options for Congress to take to make sure Social Security can pay 100% of their payments. If Congress doesn't act, it's estimated that about around 2033 that Social Security will only be able to pay 80% of earned benefits to those if nothing is done. AARP is fighting for Social Security to basically be transparent and to find options sooner than later. So that way the decision isn't a difficult decision.
So again, we had a follow-up question related to paying back Social Security.
Okay.
And you know what that means. So again, you know, for an individual that might change their mind, you know, what does that mean and how does that work?
Yeah, so you have 1 year to make that decision. If they pay, depending on how much Social Security paid you, is how much you would have to pay back, including Medicare premiums and any garnished wages from your Social Security. If you would like to pay them back, I will reach out to the Social Security Administration directly, let them know of your decision, and come up with the way of how you would want to pay that back, which is most convenient for you. But that question is best determined by the Social Security Administration by speaking to a representative that's more familiar with your work record and can see all of your information right in front of them.
Again, thank you so much for all of you that are providing questions. This is your opportunity. This is an interactive conversation. We want to hear from you. So put your questions in the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. If you don't see the Q&A, click the More button. We also are taking some in chat. They're also coming in off of some of, I think, our Facebook feeds as well. So we'll take another question. This one is from Colleen, and she asks, so am I correct that the reduction of Social Security benefits, if you keep working and make over the maximum, is forever? It doesn't end after, say, age 70.
Okay, so even if you're 70 or over and say you're collecting Social Security, your benefits can still increase if you continue to work. So Social Security automatically reviews your earnings record each year. So if your new earnings are higher than one of the 35 years previously used to calculate your benefits, Social Security will recalculate your benefit and increase accordingly. This applies regardless of your age, including after 70, as long as you're earning income from work. So ultimately, continue to work after 70 can really pay off in the form of slightly higher monthly benefits, especially if your recent earnings are strong compared to earlier years.
So
Hope that.
Another great question came in from Daniel. Do we still need to pay FICA taxes if we're self-employed and have already reached full retirement age?
If you should pay FICA taxes, will be probably a question for your tax professional. We are supposed to pay FICA taxes. But being self-employed, you do have that option to not. But as far as if you should, will be a question for your tax professional. Any other
So
questions?
another question, is AARP advocating for what seems to me to be the logical response to Social Security is running out of money, is to remove the earnings cap?
So as you see on the screen, and not going to enter the politics of Social Security, for the sake of our presentation, one of the options there, is you can reduce payments, for the higher earners, and then also eliminate or raise the wage cap, and that wage cap is that $176,100. Because once you reach that wage cap, then you are no longer responsible to pay FICA taxes past that amount. So one of the options that Congress is considering is to raise that wage cap or eliminate it. That is something that AARP has seen as an option, but remind everyone that we are a bipartisan organization. So we just want to make sure that it's fair and transparent, and that it protects all older Americans and future generations to come.
And again, AARP has not really taken necessarily positions on these. We want to really look at and work with the administration on solutions. Social Security is strong, it's vibrant, it's fiscally sound, and it will be so in the future. One of the things, the challenge is, you know, how do you adjust if you adjust the cap and you raise the Social Security payments, because as Jammie said, right now there's a maximum payment, and how does that adjust? So all of those things have to be taken into consideration as, you know, the Social Security Administration, the current Trump administration continues to look at these different options. So again, appreciate everybody's questions that are coming in. We're getting a lot of questions coming in from our direct message line. Oh, here's a great question, Jammie. This is a really, I think, a really important one for a lot of folks. How would unemployment increase or affect Social Security and the ability for, you know, future retirees? So let's say you're unemployed for many years, and maybe right as you move into retirement, what happens to your Social Security then?
So if you become unemployed going into retirement, but you worked before this unfortunate scenario, Social Security does take your highest paid 35 years. So as long as you worked for at least 35 years, Social Security will take the average of that. So that means if you satisfied your 35 years well before going into retirement, Social Security still keeps that average. And depending on when you file, 62, 67, or even 70, if you can afford to wait that long, that is how Social Security will determine what you will be eligible to receive. So the 35 average years is what's really important, and Social Security takes that average. Also, Social Security gets those 35 average years from the IRS directly. So nothing what you would have to do on your part, but definitely still take time to view those statements and make sure everything is correct.
Great. So another question that we had again is about the benefit reduction. So is the benefit reduction of $1 for every $3 that you earn, does that last forever, or is that until you hit your full retirement age, or is that at 70?
Yeah, so that is when you reach the year you reach your full retirement age is when you're subject to that $1 deducted for every $3 earned over that limit. And again, that limit is $62,160. But only for the earnings before the month you reach full retirement age. So even if your birthday, for example, is June 22nd, once June comes around, or June 1st, you can work as much as you want without this reduction. And that is how it just is moving forward after full retirement age. You can work without any reductions.
So again, I think it's really important to understand, the challenges around Social Security. I think the information around, the ability to still work and receive Social Security is at least something, again, I work for AARP. I wasn't even aware of, and just we had heard, I'd heard member stories and the challenges. And I think it's just something, again, Social Security is complex and complicated. And for all of you out there joining us today for our webinar, Jammie is an incredible resource for you. We have the ability to take your questions here on the webinar right now. If you have a question and you think, oh, probably nobody else has that question, it's probably not true. There's probably at least a dozen other people that have a very similar question that you might have. So please feel free to put your question in the Q&A. And if you missed portions of this, we will have a recording available so that you can ask your questions. And again, a lot of the information that we're sharing today is, very personal. We are not providing personal financial advice. This is general information and education. But again, we would love to hear your questions. And we continue to get questions coming in from our direct messages. And so this question is, if you work after 70, is FICA still deducted? That's a great question.
That is an awesome question. FICA is still deducted. Social Security is a pay-as-you-go system, so I pay, you pay, we all pay. By us paying, like myself, for example, I'm paying into the system to help those that are currently retired. And those that still work well after retirement are paying for future generations that also receive Social Security. So if you do continue to work, you still will see FICA taxes come out of your paycheck. I do also want to note on that that not all income counts, only earned income counts. So wages or self-employment income counts towards the earnings limit. So pensions, annuities, investment income, and interest do not count. Just want to put that out there because I'm not sure if anybody has that question, but it's very important to know.
Could you say that again? That's, I think, an important distinction.
Yes. Only earned income, so wages or self-employment income counts towards the earnings limit. That $1 for every $2 or $1 for every $3. It counts towards that. So pensions, annuities, investment income, and interest do not count.
Okay, got it.
Only wages and self-employment income.
Hey, I have a question just for me also. I have two daughters that are in their 20s. What's the best tip I can tell them about Social Security?
Well, first, make a My SSA account. I think that's very important because you can even replace a Social Security card there if it's lost. I know that sometimes happen to individuals throughout their lifetime. Another tip would be to just try to maximize your years. Pay attention to the wage cap and see how close you can get to it. So that way you can have that when it comes to retirement.
So a related question that also just came in related to that is, if somebody takes off, let's say that they had a really great career and were making, a huge sizable amounts of money, and then they end up taking off time to raise a family, and then they come back into the workforce maybe for just a few years and then decide to retire. How does that work? And how is their social security determined? Is it based, let's say they did work for the required period of time, or maybe even not I'm just kind of curious about that. We've had a couple people ask that question in the past to me directly, and I frankly don't know how to answer it. So I thought I'd ask you.
Yeah, so again, the 35 years plays the most important role. So if you satisfy that first requirement, then you've earned your way to Social Security retirement benefits. When you apply for Social Security retirement benefits, and if you are married, one factor in this scenario is that when you apply for your own, you're also applying for spousal benefits. Social Security will pay the higher of the two. So it's important to apply for both if you're eligible. And then Social Security, again, will give you the higher of the two. So they won't allow you to double dip or receive both. But it's a chance that your spousal payments might be higher than your own work record. So if your spouse tends to make more, in this particular scenario, you can claim on that record and possibly get a higher payout.
Great. And again, if you just joined us, so we saw a few people just come into our webinar today. I'm Kathy McCall. I'm the Advocacy Director for AARP here in Washington State. You are watching a webinar that's a three-part series on Social Security. We're taking your questions and answering those. And this topic is about working, and if you decide to go back to work or you stay working, and Social Security. So again, Jammie, maybe we could just recap just really quickly some of the things we talked about. Again, I think the key thing is your ability to work after full retirement. And you can still work also prior to your full retirement age. Could you just go over those numbers again for some of the listeners and the viewers that just joined us?
Yes. And let me get it on the screen for my visual learners that are similar to me. Give me one moment. So collecting while working. So it applies if you are below your full retirement age. So in 2025, it's $1 deducted for every $2 earned above the limit, and that limit is 23,400. This is for the year that you do not reach your full retirement age, which is currently somewhere between 66 and 67. In the year you reach your full retirement age, let's just say June for this example. So throughout the year until June, the limit rises. So it's $1 is deducted for every $3 earned above the limit. And that limit amount is $62,160. Once you reach June, which is your full retirement age in this scenario, you can work as much as you want without any reductions. Again, Social Security does withhold this money, but it does give it back to you at your full retirement age. That's paid to you as a credit in the formula when they calculate how much you will receive, and it then paid across your lifespan. It's not a lump sum. So all isn't lost just because you continue to work and claimed under your full retirement age.
So we had another question come in, and this one is Social Security disability pulled from Social Security funds? I'm not sure if the question is related to the individual Social Security funds or more broadly. Like, can you talk about the difference a little bit between Social Security disability and the Social Security just generally?
So for Social Security disability, those are for individuals that cannot work due to a permanent or a current disability. Claiming Social Security disability, in a sense, is there for you so you can receive Social Security if you're not in retirement age. This can have a factor on what you will receive in retirement because you're claiming your Social Security early. Keep in mind, I get the question quite often. If you're receiving disability and you finally reach your retirement age, it's nothing that you have to do. Social Security typically will automatically convert you to Social Security retirement. If you do decide to work, I know we talked about that a lot today. If you decided or was able to work and replace one of those 35 years, once you reach full retirement, you went back to work, you can still up what you might receive in your monthly benefits. It won't be anything drastic, but it is a chance that you will change one of those lower paid years. So Social Security disability is for those who can't work due to a disability. There's a Social Security Blue Book that has a ton of different diagnoses, in a sense, on what constitutes as being disabled under Social Security criteria. It is important also for Social Security disability to possibly have a representative or if you can afford a lawyer to help with your claim and expedite your Social Security disability claim. Social Security retirement is for those 62 to 67 and up to 70 to receive. They all pull from two different funds as well.
This came in from James. So he says, in talking with the Social Security office, the agent implied that I was crazy for collecting at 62 because I made too much money. I only make $35,000 a year, 11,000 over the cap, question mark. Yes, I realize I will initially forfeit 3 to 4 months of my benefit, but his tone was rather unfortunate.
I'm sorry that you had to go through that situation with the Social Security Administration. Claiming is a personal decision. So there are other factors of it, and of course, how much you make when making the decision when to claim. You got to look at your health, how you want to live in retirement, your financial situation, such as your savings, and also you have to consider your family when you're deciding when to claim, because they can also claim on your Social Security work record, such as a spouse, an ex-spouse, even dependent parents or children or grandchildren can claim on your Social Security retirement. So there's a lot of factors for when you want to claim, and that's a personal decision. So I'm not sure why that representative reacted in that way, but it is a decision that you would know which is best for you in your situation. So claiming at 62 might be the best option for you, versus it might be different for someone else.
Well, I think we're getting to towards the end. Is there any wrap-up comments that you would like to share, Jammie?
I guess going back off of that previous statement, when it comes to claiming Social Security, you want to look at your age, your health and life expectancy, depending on your family. If those in your family usually live well past 80, you want to consider that when claiming. The financial need, in this situation or the previous question, your employment status, and then taxes and your spousal benefits. If you have a spouse that plans to claim on your work record. All these are important things to consider when it comes to when to claim Social Security.
Well, I hope that you all found this conversation. We really wanted to make it an interactive conversation. And I'd like to thank everyone for taking part in today's discussion. And once again, I want to thank our Social Security technical expert, Jammie Lyell. We've been working with him for a couple months now, and just every time I hear him speak, I always learn something new. So just a reminder, we're going to have, this is the first of a 3-part series, and Jammie will be back with us on June 17th for our second session, which is called Family First. How can Social Security protect your loved ones? This is a really important conversation. Again, another topic that we've heard from our members that they don't necessarily know about or have had a chance to think about or have a chance to talk about. And we'll talk about how Social Security can be a lifeline for your spouse and your family if something should happen to you. If you have not registered to attend our June event, we will add the registration link into the chat box. And so that you can actually click on there and register right away. I believe it's already in the chat, and it's up. If you scroll up in the chat box, maybe we can post it again for a second time, because several great thank yous and incredible kudos to you, Jammie, for this great conversation are coming in on the chat. So again, the registration link, we'll make sure to post that again for you so that you can click on it. To the ARP members that joined us today, thank you for participating in this discussion on working and claiming Social Security. This is a lot of issues that we hear about from our members. We apologize that we might have not got to all of the questions that we received, but we tried to really enforce some of the key points around your ability to work and still collect Social Security, what the limitations are, what the income levels are, and what the potential penalties are if you are collecting above and beyond some of those income limits. If you'd like to visit, the questions, if you would like to have additional questions, or you need to have additional information on Social Security, AARP has a special email box set up. You can go to ssoa@aarp.org, or answers.aarp.org, or send an email again at ssoa@aarp.org, or go to the website answers.aarp.org. We've been using some great AI tools, and you can have incredible levels of detail in your questions, and we will be able to respond and answer to those. Again, if you would like to learn more about AARP's efforts to protect and strengthen Social Security, visit us online at www.aarp.org/social security. That's www.aarp.org/social security. These links will also be shared in our post email that we'll send out to you so that you have these resources at your fingertips. We know Social Security is important. It's the #1 priority for AARP as well, to continue to advocate for you. Again, I'm Kathy McCall, Advocacy Director for AARP here in Washington State. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, and goodbye for now. Hope to see you soon in June. Thank you.